logs. First, over here in Internet Explorer, you're going to go to go/plus, and on the left-hand side, you're clicking where it says plus teacher log here. Then go up to list and say export to Excel. Say open. Here it is. And what I typically do is I'll sort it first by the dates, and then I'm going to go ahead and delete all the dates I don't need. So if I'm just going to do here, like say May, then I can, May so far, obviously. The day this video is taken is actually May 20th, so I'm going to delete all of these here. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say delete, obviously, and that way it moves all my data to the top. Then what I typically do is I highlight everything that I want, just to save myself time later. Like, I don't actually need all of this stuff here, so I just highlight the data that I want here. I can do that. Okay, and then I go to Insert Pivot Table, and I'm going to make my school site my rows, and everything else I'm going to drag over to values. Sometimes if you don't select the data, it'll have all the same values for all of these, so make sure that the numbers are actually different. So I'm going to drag all these down that I'm going to want to use. Okay, I try and be consistent with the order, but it doesn't really matter. Just be the same from month to month, so it's easier to read and compare. And then what I would do now is I would simply go through here, and I like to make sure that my rows are the same width. So I go here to Format, Column Width. I'll go ahead and make it like 15. And then I like to also make sure this one on top, this row on top, I'm going to wrap my text like that. Okay, and then she also likes an average column. So I'm going to equals average. And I'm going to say average. I'm just taking the totals. And then you can just drag that formula all the way across. Okay. And then what you do, so now I have my pivot table, and to create the nice charts, what I typically do is I will just select all of this data here, except for the titles. And I'll show you why in a second. So I copy that. I'm going to go ahead and paste it into a new sheet, and then just go back and get the titles again. What this does is it kind of breaks the pivot table formatting, which affects, it kind of makes it weird for making tables. So now I have this, and what I typically do now is I'm going to go to Insert. So now it's just all the data without the pivot table stuff. So I go Insert Chart, and I'm going to go ahead, obviously this is not what we want, so I'm going to say Select Data. And for the first chart, which is kind of the overview, you're going to unselect all the schools. Basically, all you want is the overall averages for categories. So all the schools deselected except for just average, like that. I'm going to say OK. This is most of what we want, but let's go ahead and make it nicer. So I say move chart to its own, and so this can be overall view. Okay, you can call this average teacher hours. Okay, and then I don't like how that looks, so I'm going to go to change chart type, and actually let's do it this way. So all the data is underneath it, all the labels underneath it rather, and that pretty much works like that. You can change the colors a little bit over here if you want to do. You can right click on it and you can give it a different color, but it doesn't really do. There's different ways you can change that later if you want to change it, make it different colors or something. But that's pretty much what we do. Sometimes there's more or less fields depending on the view. So that's for average hours. Then what I would do, if you really want to go through and you want to make a separate chart for each school, make a new chart, go through and just take this whole thing not the average and not the total now. Copy it, paste it, and essentially what you're going to do is you're going to just make a new chart for each school. So you're going to make a new chart. You're going to select the data, and this time you would obviously just deselect everything except the school that you want. I've experimented with other things. Okay, so like, oh, I didn't. Sometimes I've also gone through and then I move the chart to its own. Okay, so this would be my Awani spreadsheet. I might have spelled that wrong, sorry. Other things I've done is on this spreadsheet here, what I've done sometimes is I've inserted a row and then I've kind of copied these together, and then it might be faster doing it that way because then you can just go through and you would just, for example, select each one like that and then say insert chart, and it automatically does it. So it's up to you if you want to do it the deselect way or if you want to do the insert row and put the column in each thing. As far as I know, you can't automatically just make a separate chart for each school like that. And this is nice because it automatically keeps the title in there and that kind of thing. So, and then again, just make a new, I say, move chart like that. And it's good to go. What Jen needs is she needs for this table to be looking nice so that she can give it to someone. So what you can do is you can take this, maybe even make a screenshot of it. So let's go ahead and move, we can make this column a little bit wider. Let's go ahead and make it 20, a little too much. Okay, you can play around with the numbers a little bit, play around with the titles. To get it to try and fit on one screen, you can take a screenshot of it. Let's just try it real quick here since we're recording this anyway. And so let's go ahead and make it 17 maybe. Okay, well, small enough to fit on a screen to put in a Word document, so I guess we could just copy and paste it and then mess with it on Word. So what I would typically do here, I would make it just try and paste it, make this smaller. Yeah, I can't do it. Okay. She takes a screenshot of it, and I think we might have to do that. So if we just kind of zoom out real quick. That's our last column. Okay, let's take a screenshot of it. And then we can take a screenshot also of the chart for like Rosario.
Who's Ryan Coe? Why is he down there? Put him on.
Okay, 2 separate pages, but that's pretty much what we do. And then just send, what you can do also, what I typically would do is I'll go through for the overall view, the one I'll make 2 separate documents. And all of my data, when I send it over, I will hide everything that I don't need, like this. And then I'll just send over like the 2 tabs that are showing, which would be the overall view and the table view for Rosario and Jen.